शिवानन्दाय ॐ नमो भगवते शिवानन्दाय ॐ नमो भगवते शिवानन्दाय ॐ नमो भगवते शिवानन्दाय ॐ नमो भगवते शिवानन्दाय ॐ नमो
गजाननं भूतगणाधिसेवितं कपितजम्बोफलचारुभक्षणम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारकं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजम्। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेव महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। भज रे गोपालं मानस भज रे गोपालं भज रे गोपालं मानस भज रे गोपालं भज गोपालं भजितकुचेलं भज गोपालं भजितकुचेलं त्रिजगन्मूलं दितिसुतकालं त्रिजगन्मूलं दितिसुतकालं भज रे गोपालं भज रे गोपालं भज रे गोपालं मानस भज रे गोपालं आगमसारं योगविचारम् आगमसारं योगविचारं भोगशरीरं भुवनाधारं भोगशरीरं भुवनाधारं भज रे गोपालं मानस भज रे गोपालं भज रे गोपालं मानस भज रे गोपालं मकदमकुठारं कलुषविदूरं कदनकुठारं कलुषविदूरं मदनकुमारं मधुसंहारं भज रे गोपालं मानस भज रे गोपालं भज रे गोपालं मानस भज रे गोपालं नतमन्दारं नन्द किशोरं नतमन्दारं नन्द किशोरं हतचाणूरं हंसविहारं भज रे गोपालं मानस भज रे गो मानस भज रे गोपालं भज रे गोपालं मानस भज रे गोपालं नारायण 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 जय हरि गोविंद नारायण हरि गोपाल नारायण जोर से बोलिए जय हरि गोविंद नारायण हरि गोपाल नारायण गोविंद गोविंद दामोदरा गोविंद गोविंद दामोदरा गोविंद आनंद दामोदरा गोविंद गोविंद आनंद दामोदरा गोविंद परमानंद आनंद दामोदरा परमानंद आनंद दामोदरा जय हरि गोविंद नारायण हरि गोपाल नारायण जय हरि गोविंद नारायण हरि गोपाल नारायण जय नारायण 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 जय हरि गोविंद नारायण हरि गोपाल नारायण जय जय हरि गोविंद नारायण हरि गोपाल नारायण ब्रूहि मुकुन्देति रसने ब्रूहि मुकुन्देति ब्रूहि मुकुन्देति रसने ब्रूहि मुकुन्देति केशव माधव गोविन्देति केशव माधव गोविन्देति कृष्णानन्द सदानन्देति कृष्णानन्द सदानन्देति ब्रूहि मुकुन्देति रसने ब्रूहि मुकुन्देति राधारमण हरे रामेति राधारमण हरे रामेति राजीवाक्ष घनश्यामेति राजीवाक्ष घनराश्यामेति ब्रूहि मुकुन्देति रसने ब्रूहि मुकुन्देति गरुडगमनानन्दकहस्तेति गरुडगमना नन्दकहस्तेति खण्डितदशकन्धरमस्तेति खण्डितदशकन्धरमस्तेति ब्रूहि मुकुन्देति रसने ब्रूहि मुकुन्देति रसने ब्रूहि मुकुन्देति अक्रूरप्रिया चक्रधरेति अक्रूरप्रिया चक्रधरेति हंस निरञ्जन कंसहरेति हंस निरञ्जन कंसहरेति ब्रूहि मुकुन्देति रसने ब्रूहि मुकुन्देति रसने ब्रूहि मुकुन्देति श्री राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय जय राम
जय जय राम
श्री राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय जय राम
श्री राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय जय राम
श्री राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय जय राम
श्री राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय जय Ram.
Sri Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Sri Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Sri Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Sri Ram Jai Jai.
Sri Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Sri Ram Jai Jai Ram. Sri Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Sri Ram Jai Jai Ram. Sri Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Sri Ram Jai Jai Ram. Sri Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Sri Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Sri Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Sri Ram.
श्यावर रामचंद्र भगवान के, सद्गुरु भगवान के। ओम नमः पार्वती पते हर हर महादेव।
Hari Om. In the second session of Sannyas Diksha centenary celebration of Worshipful Gurudev Param Pujya Swami Shivanandaji Maharaj, the founder of the Divine Life Society Rishikesh, I have great pleasure to welcome Param Pujya Sri Swami Atmapriyanandaji Maharaj and Param Pujya Swami Jap Siddhanandaji Maharaj of Sri Ramakrishna Mission, Belur Mutt, Kolkata, on behalf of all the dignitaries of our Shivanand Ashram. And now I humbly request Pujya Swami Atmapriyanandaji Maharaj to bless us all by his Amrit Vachan. Here I would like to quote Swami Vivekanandaji's words about sannyas. The real aim of sannyas is Atmano Mokshartham Jagat Hitaya Cha. Hari Om. Param Pujya Swami Atmapriyanandaji Maharaj.
How much time do you have? Up to 4:30. Up to 4:30. Om yo brahmanam vidadhati purvam yo vai vedanscha prahinoti tasmai tamhadevam atmabuddhi prakasham mumukshurvai sharanamaham prapadye. Nishkriyam nishkalam shantam niravadyam niranjanam amritasya param setum dagadhendhanamivanalam. Om asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya aviravirmayedhi rudrayatte dakshinam mukham tena mam pahi nityam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shakti Samudra Samutsatarangam Darshita Prema Vijrambhitarangam Samshaya Rakshasa Nasha Mahastram Yami Gurum Sharanam Bhava Vaidyam. Naradeva Deva Jaya Jaya Naradeva Advaya Tattva Samahita Chittam Projvala Bhakti Patavrita Vrittam Karma Kalevara Madbhuta Cheshtam Yami Gurum Sharanam Bhava Vaidyam. Naradeva Deva Jaya Jaya Naradeva. My respectful pranams to most revered President of this Sangha, Swami Yogaswarupanandaji, and most revered Swami Padmanabhanandaji, the Vice President, and the General Secretary, and all the monks present here of the Shivananda Ashram, and the Matajis and Sannyasanis, the Brahmacharinis, the Brahmacharis, all the yoga seekers and spiritual seekers present here at this holy occasion. Let me begin with two light anecdotes. They'll go for something serious. I was just asking them, how much time do you have to speak? So I always remember, I must have told you already perhaps, long ago, maybe about 15 years back, there was a conference of vice chancellors who are called presidents in the American universities in Bangkok. I went from India, and it was inaugurated by the chancellor of Oxford University. He's a very learned person, a very witty person also. He began by saying the following. He said, I went to an international conference and asked the audience, how long should I speak? All of them said in one voice, Sir, you are so learned, you have come all the way only for our sake. Please do speak as long as you can, but we are leaving after half an hour. That should not happen to speakers. The time is very important. When people begin to yawn and scratch their heads, a signal to stop. There was a speaker who went on and on. Nobody could stop him. Then took a small clock like this and showed him. He looked at the clock and went on. After some time, somebody brought a calendar. And that is one joke. And I asked them, what is the topic on which I should speak? They say, you can talk. See, this is a special celebration, you can talk. I was remembering a joke by Swami Yatishwaranandaji. He was a very illumined monk of Ramakrishna order, he was the vice president. His meditation and spiritual life, the book has become extremely famous. In that he writes, two boys were quarreling between themselves. One boy said, see, my mother, my mom, you don't know, she speaks so well. She can speak on any subject at any time. The other boy said, what is so great about it? My mom can speak even without any subject. So in my case, it is no subject. No subject means including all subjects. Zero includes infinity. Shunya and Purna, Vedanta also says, is one. Now, jokes apart, this is a very great occasion because one young doctor responding to the call of God, wants to give up all worldly pursuits, dedicate himself for Atmano Mokshartam Jagat Hidaya Cha, in the Swami Vivekananda's phrase, for one's own liberation, for Atma Jnana, realizing oneself, the core of one's being, which we call the Atman, as well as serving all beings as embodiments of the same divine Atman. So you see the same Atman everywhere. Atmopammena sarvatra samam pashyati Arjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham sayogi paramo mata. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says in the Gita, Paramo mata, he is the greatest yogi according to me, who serves all beings, considering them to be his own self. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mayi pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sacha me na pranashyati sarvabhuta sthitam yo mam bhajatyekatvam asthitah sarvatha vartamanopi sa yogi mayi vartate. These are great statements, and the significant words used in the original Sanskrit you should always remember. Swami Brahmananda ji, who was next to only Swami Vivekananda, he used to always tell the brahmacharis and the students, never go for the bhashyas in the beginning. Take the original Gita, read and reread, memorize if possible, and try to think about the meaning of the original words in the Gita. Don't go for interpretative understanding of the Gita through the lens of either Shankara or any of the acharyas. You think independently about the meaning. He says, Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mayi pashyati. You see all beings. Tasyaham na pranashyami sachabe na pranashyati. Then next verse. Sarva bhuta sthitam yo mam bhajati ekatvamasthitaha. I always used to think this is a very enigmatic verse. Ekatvamasthitaha, oneness, non-difference, advaita, I and all the beings are one. Ekatvamasthitaha. Then bhajati, the word used is bhajati. Bhajati is a peculiar word in Sanskrit language. It has several meanings. My brother monk, the Vyakarana, should be able to tell you. Usually we think bhajate means to worship, to serve. But here Bhagavan is using the word bhajati. Whom does Bhagavan do bhajana to? And then another famous verse. Ye yatha mam prapadyante stat tathaiva bhajamyaham. It's a very enigmatic verse. I worship him or what? I serve him, worship him. These senses don't exactly fit in here. That means, perhaps, the Bhashyakaras and others have different interpretations. Tas tathaiva bhajami, that means I approach him, I reach him with the same attitude wherever he is. So let him come to me in any form he likes. Worship me in any form, worship me in any being, but I will reach him there. To people who criticize the Hindus very often, this is a very common criticism. You are idolaters, you worship the stones, you worship trees, you worship rivers. I said, that is our beauty. We see the same divine everywhere. And what is your problem? God doesn't have any problem. I am a fool, I am stupid, I don't know anything about God. I think this Shivalinga is God, I think this tree is God, this river is God. If I worship God in that tree or the river or the stone, God promises in the Gita, I shall be present there and accept your worship. If you do not accept this, then you are questioning the omnipresence and the omnipotence of God. God can be present everywhere. God is all-powerful and is present everywhere. Omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence are the three fundamental qualities of God according to all the religions. He is omniscient, he is omnipotent and omnipresent. So he can choose to be present in that so that he can accept a stupid person like me, my worship he can accept. Man has a problem. Why are you doing this? Why are you not worshipping that? But God doesn't have a problem. So from the point of God, it is very easy for him to reach everybody, accept his worship as he or she is offering to God. So the traditions like Ramakrishna order and Swami Shivananda, etc., if it is possible to worship God in the temple in an image, is it not possible to worship God in a human being, in all the beings, serve them what they need? It is very easy to worship God in the temple. Because whatever you offer, the poor God has to digest. You offer something to God, He has to take it. He has no choice. But you offer something to a human being, he has a choice. He may not like it. Particularly those who are very ill in hospitals, etc. You serve the Rogi Narayanas, the gods in the form of people who are ill, gods in the form of ignorant, gods in the form of the poor. So Rogi Narayana is very taxing, and he will shout and scream at you. You may serve him wholeheartedly, but he will not be satisfied. It is very easy to serve gods in the temple, but extremely difficult to serve gods in the human form and even in the form of all beings. This is exactly what Swami Shivanandaji Gurudev taught us. Be good and do good. This is the statement of Buddha. Swami Vivekananda is very fond of this statement. About Buddha he said, Buddha created a religion without the idea of God or the soul. And it is now vibrant even after 2,500 years. But what was his teaching? Vivekananda summarized it, said, Buddha simply said, be good and do good. That is the whole of religion. In Tirukkural, those of you who Tamil will understand, I will translate it for others. Manathu kan maashi ilanadal anaithu aran agula neerapira. Tiruvalluvar says, the famous author of Tirukkural, be pure in heart. Remove all the blemishes in the heart. Make your heart absolutely pure, loving. That is all of religion. All the other things of religion which we practice are all only outward show. Swami Vivekananda writes in a letter to Nivedita, religions of the world have become lifeless mockeries. What the world wants is character, which is one of boundless love, where every word will tell like thunderbolt. That is the power of truth, that is the power of genuineness, that is the power of love, that is the power of purity. 100 years ago, a young man was a successful doctor, was responding to the call of God, service of God in man, service of God in all beings, using the knowledge which God has given him, namely the medical science. Use that for serving people. At the same time, elevate your consciousness so as to expand it to include and subsume the whole universe. This young man, was Swami Shivanandaji, the Pujya Gurudev. And what is so fundamental about such people is they leave a sampradaya. One person, 100 is here, took sannyas. We are celebrating it today. Celebrating means we are remembering this great occasion. Remembering this great occasion as an inspiration for all of us, how one young man, not well known, how many doctors are produced in the world, in India particularly. But he was one unique doctor. At that time he was not well known as a spiritual leader, nobody even understood what he was trying to do. But he gives up all the lucrative propositions of all people. Such people are usually called peculiar, mad, misguided, and out of the ordinary. Only out of such mad people does goodness emerge, love and compassion emerge, and only such people hold the earth from falling apart. Santo bhumim tapasa dharayanti. These great saints are holding the world through their tapasya so that it doesn't fall apart. Dharma means holding, comes from the dhru dhatu, to hold. The modern word for this is to sustain, Now, commonly we use the word sustainability, sustainable development goals of the United Nations and so on. Everywhere we talk about sustainability because you can start something that has to be sustained. What sustains the world? It is dharma. Unfortunately, the word dharma has been translated as religion by the Westerners, and many people follow it blindly. Dharma is much more. It is not merely religion. It encompasses so many things about human life itself. And Bhagavan Bhashyakara, Shankara Bhagavad Pada, in the very beginning of his Gita Bhashya says, Vivido hi vedokto dharmaha, pravritti dharmaha, nivritti dharmascha. Both are accepted. In the Vedic religion, in our Hindu tradition, we don't say people should give up the world, people should abandon everything and go to the forest and meditate and realize God. That's one part of it. Of course it is true. Nishreyasa dharma, nivritti dharma, and the pravritti dharma is dharma artha kama. Two clear paths are mentioned, and the Bhashyakara in the Upodghata Bhashya of the Bhagavad Gita begins by saying, the Supreme Lord Bhagavan first created a group of people, Sanaka Sanandana, etc., the rishis, who went for Nivritti Dharmam Grahayamasa. Then Manu, etc., he made them Pravritti Dharmam Grahayamasa. Vivido hi vedokto dharma. What is dharma? Jagatasthiti karanam praninam sakshat abhyusaya nishrayase hetuhaya sadharma. Such a simple, pointed definition. Jagatasthiti karanam. The world will fall apart if it is not held by dharma. Praninam sakshat abhyudaya nishrayase hetu. These are words commonly used in Vedanta and the Hindu religion. Abhyudaya is worldly prosperity. Of course we need worldly prosperity. To run such a huge institution, organization, you need money, you need people, you need infrastructure, you need prosperity. Shri is necessary. And along with Shri, you also need Medha, so that you can intuit the higher purpose of life. So Shri without Medha is dangerous. This is Vimalananda Swami's statement in the Mahanarayana Upanishad. Shri without Medha is dangerous, and Medha without Shri is ineffective. You have plenty of spirituality, but when people come, you can't feed them, you can't talk to them. So you need both. A combination of the pravritti and nivritti, abhyudaya and nishrayasa, dharmartha moksha and dharmartha kama and moksha, but with complete, total, holistic dharma envisaged in the Hindu society, which Bhagavan Bhashyakara in the very beginning of the Gita Bhashya so beautifully summarized. Vivido hi vedokto dharmaha. Now, dharma, artha and kama should be rejected. That's one group. The sannyasins group will still tell you, no, you should not have worldly ambitions. Of course, why not? We are in the university when students are so ambitious. Suppose you don't be so ambitious. No, you're killing them. No, don't tell them. Don't tell them you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are the self. Tell them you are the body, you are the mind. But purify your mind, purify your body. Once you purify your body, elevate your mind, then you can attain great heights. So the positive aspect of religion which Swami Vivekananda gave, and Swami Shivananda comes in the same kind of tradition of combining these two and giving a new message to mankind. The body and the mind and the senses and the buddhi are given to you so that you can purify them, chasten them, make them powerful in the service of everybody, and for the realization of your own self called the Atman. Both of them should be simultaneously pursued. And when you come to a position in which you'll be totally absorbed in God, absorbed in the Atman, then all your other karma just drops away. Don't try to abandon karma. Karma will abandon you when you're fit for it. This is a statement from Yoga Vasishtha, which is quoted by Sridhara Swami in the 18th chapter, 2nd verse. Na karmani tyajet yogi, karmabhi tyajyate hyaso. A yogi does not abandon karma, but karma abandons him. He is abandoned by karma. Sri Ramakrishna gives a beautiful example. When the daughter-in-law is in the family way about carrying a child, mother-in-law reduces her work. You should not work too hard. You should not lift heavy weights. And you should not walk fast. Because she is carrying a child in the womb. So mother-in-law tells her, reduce your work, reduce your work. And when the child is born, no other work is given to that lady except fondling the child. So such a telling, simple modern example in Sri Ramakrishna's gospel. He says, as long as work is necessary for you, you have to do this work. A time will come, work will drop away. You don't drop work. This is a fundamental message of the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna wanted to abandon all work and go for bhiksha. Shankara says in the beginning, Aham yesham mama yete iti bhranti pratyaya nimitta. Whole thing comes from mamakara and ahankara. He saw these people. Oh, Acharyan, Matulan, Bhratran, Putran, Pautran, Sakim Sada, Etan Nahantum Ichami, Khnatopi Madhusudana. When he came, is full of valor. He tells Krishna, Senayor Ubhayor Madhya Ratam Sthapayame Achyuta, Kair Mayasa Yodhavyam Asmin Ranasamudyame. Keep my chariot betwixt these armies. I want to see who are those people who are eager to die at my hands. Such a powerful Arjuna. Sri Krishna being the Mayavi, he took the chariot. See, Sri Krishna was a driver. That is the role in Mahabharata, the chariot, the Sarathi. He quietly took the chariot, placed it just in front of Bhishma and Drona. Bhishma Drona Pramukhata Sarvesham Chamahikshitam Vacha Partha Pashayetan Samavetan Guruniti. The moment he saw Bhishma, Drona, they are my acharyas. I owe everything to them. They taught me my archery. Now I am going to kill them. Using the same vidya which they have taught me. No, I will not do it. Visrajya sasharam chapam shoka samvigna manasaha. Arjuna starts crying. Can you imagine Arjuna crying? He is one of the most valorous, one of the most powerful warriors, army general. Tam tata kripaya vishnam ashrupurna kuleka ashrupurna kulekshanam. What will normally people do? Somebody collapses, somebody is unhappy, somebody is Sidanti mamagatrani. He says, my head is reeling, I can't even stand. What we do is call for a doctor, call for an ambulance, emergency, or give him a pep talk. What did Sri Krishna do? He did two things. Totra vitraika panaye. He took whip in his hands and whipped him. Klaibyam masmagam parthanaitatvi upapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbulyam tikta uttishta. Parantapa. What is it that you are doing? This does not become you. Then he started giving him Atma Jnana. This is one thing we should remember. All the great acharyas, Swami Shivananda is not an exception. They give you the Atma Jnana, the highest spiritual truth, which will be the Paramaushadhi for all, including for mental depression. Somebody is depressed. Suppose you go and tell them Atma Jnana. We normally think, no, these things are too high. Nothing is too high. Shankara says, why did Bhagavan give Atma Jnana to Arjuna in the very beginning? Second chapter, if you read, whole thing is the highest Atmajnana, in fact Ajatavada. Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadipaha. Gatasu nagatasuscha nanushocanti panditaha. Those who are Atmajnanis, Pandita is there, Panda Atma Vishaya Buddhi Yeshamte Panditaha. Men of realization do not care who lives or who dies. It's a very harsh statement. Heartless it appears. Shankara asked the question, why is it giving Atmajnana? Because Atmajnana alone can remove Shokamoha, and Shokamoha comes from Ahankara and Mamakara. Aham yesham mamayeti iti bhranti pratyaya nimitta. Then Shokamoha mahadado nimagnaya arjunaya upadadesha. Then what happens? He traces Shankara. Swadharma parityaga pratishiddha seva chasyat. You give up your swadharma, take up that which is paradharma. So the only medicine for this is Atmajnana. Why I am saying this is because sometimes we feel when we read these great books, particularly in the Shivananda tradition, you have Gurudev himself and Swami Krishnananda's book, if you read, some of the highest truths, be it the Upanishads, be it the Advaitic texts, sometimes we feel, why is he teaching such very high philosophy and the Upanishads, etc., in such a lofty fashion for people who are uninitiated, who perhaps cannot understand. We always underestimate people who listen to us. People tell me also, you talk high philosophy, nobody understands. Why it is? If I can understand, why can't they? Because this Atmajnana alone will save the world. I have been telling my psychiatric friends, recently there is a World Psychiatric Conference, I was asked to inaugurate it, I told them, some of you should take up this. So many schools of psychology are there, starting from Freud, Adler. There is a school of psychology called Frankel's, Viktor Frankl, logotherapy. Man wants to seek meaning. So why don't you have a school of psychology, and that can be turned into psychiatry, counseling and so on later on, which is Yoga Vedanta psychotherapy. Yoga and Vedanta will be very potential psychotherapic medicines for the modern world. Give them pep and yoga and Vedanta. I'll just give you one example. There is a great celebrity in France, in Paris. Her name is Emma Calvé. She is well known. She was such a great celebrity, and most celebrities are and were and will be perhaps. She was depressed, unhappy, almost to the point of ending her life. Then somebody told her, you go to Swami Vivekananda, he is a great Indian yogi, has come to Paris, go and meet him. She went, entered the study. Vivekananda was writing something or reading something. He did not even look up. He said, oh my child, what a terrible atmosphere you brought with you. Calm down, calm down. A storm is raging in your heart. She went and sat there. Swami just looked at her, looked through the eyes, started talking about some of the secrets which she had not shared with anybody. She became flabbergasted, confused, frightened. Swami, how did you know all this? Did anybody talk to you about me? Swamiji smiled and said, is it necessary? I can read you like an open book. And then he gave the highest Advaita teaching. You are not a small little entity encased in this body and mind. Come on, manifest your divinity. You are the divine spark. You are the Atman. You have been conditioned yourself to thinking you are small, you are little. Swamiji was questioned in the West. You are constantly telling we are divine, all power is within us, we are the Atman. But we feel and know and we are small, we are little. This is what we feel, but you are hypnotizing us by saying all this. Swamiji smiled and said just the opposite. I'm de-hypnotizing you. You hypnotize yourself into thinking you are small and little. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi also says this. You already hypnotized yourself. I'm de-hypnotizing you. Then he gave us such a powerful Advaita impulse, which went so deep into that lady, she was almost losing consciousness and entering into Samadhi. That's the power of a great man. She started crying, Swami, what are you doing to me? I'm losing myself, please. Stop now. Swamiji smiled and said, you Westerners are so much afraid of losing your individuality, dragging this and making fun of them, taunting them. You are not individuals yet. You shall be when you become universal. Then he told a small story. A water drop was falling into the ocean, and the drop was crying miserably. Ocean said, why are you crying, my child? Oh, I am going to lose my individuality as a drop. I will be lost in the ocean. The ocean smiled and said, no, my child. You are not losing your individuality as a drop. You are regaining and recovering your individuality as the ocean. You were with me. You are me. And the rays of the sun took you up. You are coming back to rejoin the billions and trillions of water drops, your brothers and sisters like you. This is the fundamental teaching that all these great acharyas and gurus have given us. If you read Swami Shivananda, Krishnananda and all the parampara, you will see again and again this idea will come to us. You serve people, you love people, all that is true. But the idea that you are the self, you are the Atman, you are imperishable, na jayate mriyate va kutaschan ayam bhutva bhavitavanajo bhuyaha ajo nitya shashvadoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. The Purana word occurs here. Bhagavan Bhashyakara Shankara says, Purana means pura api nava. It's antique and old, still it is ever new. Continuously self-renewing like nature. So you are that self. Tell yourself. Swami Vivekananda said, dream of it, think of it, tell yourself repeatedly and tell to others that you are the self. Swamiji once said, I don't preach anything except awake, 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 awake. Uttishtata jagrata prapta varan nibodhata. Swamiji's very favorite mantra from the Kathopanishad. There Bhashyakara says, Anadi avidya nidra. You are simply steeped in the ignorance, and with great compassion the Acharya says, Iti shruti ranukampaya aha matravat. Like a kind mother, the Shruti, Vedas, Upanishad says, please, please wake up. Infinite power is within you. Great joy will be yours. Just you wake up a little from this anadi avidya. Don't be satisfied with small things when the infinite truth is there before you. In another place, Shankara says, Matrapitra sastrebhya paramayateshana vedena yadupadashtam tanupekshitavyam. Like 1,000 mothers and fathers, parents, thousands of fathers and mothers also cannot match the compassion of the Shruti or the Veda. So all these acharyas have come not for themselves, and how the movement spreads is very interesting. Shivananda Ashram, now we see so many branches everywhere, so many millions of devotees and sincere, serious sadhakas come, meditate. Just now we are talking to Pujaniya Swami Padmanabhanandaji and Yogaswarupanandaji. 2 months course is being held thrice a year. So many people applied, about 35, 40 people are selected. Intense. Every day about nearly 10 to 11 hours they have to go through a rigorous discipline and course. But people come. We often think there will be a crash course. Now that is the latest thing. When we started teaching Gita Upanishads in our university, many people told us, these are the management people. You know the buzzword in management, attention span. These are the words which they use. See, modern man, attention span is very less. Give them a crash course of 5 weeks on the Gita, as if the Gita can be studied in 5 weeks. Americans, we have borrowed from the Americans. So restless they are. There was a great Swami in Hollywood who passed away, Swami Swahananda. One of his disciples took mantra diksha from him, American. Suddenly he calls him, Swami, your mantra doesn't work. Would you like to change it? Just like medicines. For 3 days you do take this medicine, I will like to change it later on. Then he said, what do you mean? These mantras cannot be changed. I have been practicing this for 44 years. It's not easy. Wow! 44 years. I will find some other guru. Our minds are so restless. We don't want to test it out. I always ask myself, tell my students also, how many years you have spent studying useless things? 12 years of study plus 2. Then you go for 3 to 5 years up to postgraduate. Then you go for postgraduate, post-MSc. Then you go for PhD. Already 20 years gone. Then postdoctoral. Nowadays everybody goes for postdoctoral. Postdoctoral studies in one institute in Europe, another institute in America. By the time you finish all that, you are already 35. You began at the age of 20. You have spent 25 years of precious youth studying things which are not elevating for you. If you want to spend just 1 or 2 years for the spiritual scriptures, they will say, no, there is no time at all. This is one thing which you should always avoid. The first time when I came and stayed here before I became a brahmachari in Ramakrishna Mission, I stayed in this holy place for about a couple of weeks. At that time, visited Gangotri. There's a great Swami there, Narahari Maharaj. He lived in a gufa. Such a powerful atmosphere he created. He asked one of my companions, is he going to Gomukh? Then he somehow said, no, he is rather busy. The moment he heard the word busy, for 1 full hour he fired me. Cut out the word busy from a dictionary if you want to be a yogi or a jnani. What is there to be busy? Later on he studied Gita, etc. Strangely I found, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, I am not at all busy. There is no work at all for me. Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam vartaye vashakarmani. The Lord himself is not busy. Why should you and I be busy? Do plenty of work, plenty of service. Serve everybody. But don't be busy. How is it done? The secret is in the Bhagavad Gita. Without rajas. Sattvika karma, sattvika karta, so much of discussion is there in the Bhagavad Gita, I don't go into that. So the scriptures tell us, and the interpretation of the scriptures and the power which the scriptures have infused into you through the mouth of a illumined teacher, Guru Mukhi Vidya we call it. You can't simply take a book and read it yourself, however much you may be learned. So Guru meva abhigached shrotriyam brahmanishtham Mundakopanishad. Bhagavan Bhashyakara Shankara Bhagavatpada says, Guru meva. Why Guru meva is mentioned? Shastrajño api swatantrena brahmanvesham na kuryadityartaha evayatyavadharanam. You may be Shastrajña. You may know all the scriptures in the world, but don't, independent of the Guru, start pursuing the spiritual path. These are some exceptional statements which the Acharyas have told us. And based on the realization of one person, a sampradaya begins. Look at this, Shivananda Ashram for example. One young man, very successful doctor, suddenly felt the urge to seek God, and at the same time he used his vidya, which society has given him, which God has given him, for the service of everybody. This is extremely important to remember. There are many people who give up what they have studied. In the Ramakrishna Mission also we are facing this problem. A doctor, an engineer, no, I will not do it anymore. I will meditate and go to Himalayas. You go to Himalayas, but I always tell them, you have earned this degree, for 25 years you studied, Society has paid for you. Remember, none of us could pay for the education which we have had. Heavily subsidized by the government, by whoever. It's all society's money. At the cost of the society, you have earned this vidya, and your parents have given this. So whatever vidya, whatever knowledge you have, or technology you have, give it in the service of the Lord. Service of the Lord in the form of all human beings. If you are a computer scientist, worship the Lord through the computer. If you are an AI person, artificial intelligence, use your little intelligence to use the artificial intelligence which you have created. And if you are an expert in gardening, use it for Lord's work. Unless we give ourselves up to the Supreme Being whom we have come to serve, our whole life will be blessed if we spend our lives in meditation and service. Be good and do good, the great mantra which the Gurudev Swami Shivanandaji has given us, means to be good is not easy. It looks so simple, simplistic formula which he has given us. You may be good to people who are good to you, but can you be good to people who cause you harm, who hate you, who behind your back try to stab you? Can you be good to them? I try to be good, except that fellow who has been torturing me. There can't be exceptions. You do your part. Then how do you solve this problem? I used to think about this. Sri Ramakrishna gives the clue in the gospel. He says, I bring in the knowledge of Brahman. The same Brahman is present everywhere. He may be wicked, he may be evil, but within him is the shining Atman which he has not discovered yet, unfortunately. Help him to discover it. So the service, doing good, in 4 stages. The do good is before me. The simplistic formula is an ancient formula revived by Swami Vivekananda and Shivananda and others. First give annadana. People who are hungry, don't teach them Manduka Garika. First give them food. So Ramakrishna said religion is for empty, not for empty stomach. Annadana, Chaturveda dana. Then if you give them annadana today, tomorrow again they will come. So give them education, secular education, by which they will be able to stand on their own feet and earn their bread. They will be independent. Make them independent. Vidyadana. Then pranadana. Hospitals and dispensaries and medicines, nutritious food, vitamins. So all that is necessary to make the body and the prana strong. Muscular body alone is not enough. You need a nervously strong body. The snayu has to be extremely subtle to withstand the strain of work, strain of deep thought, contemplation, and the strain of samadhi also. We collapse. Sri Ramakrishna had a nephew, Hridayara Mukhopadhyaya. He served him so much. He went to Mama, I have served you so much, please give me samadhi. You can give me if you like. Sri Ramakrishna said, wait for some time, you are not prepared for it, but you will not leave him. Then he said, all right, it will happen. Suddenly he got into an ecstatic mood. He saw himself luminous. He saw the whole world luminous, started jumping about, Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna, we are not ordinary beings, we are angels from the heavens, we are luminous. Then he touched his chest and said, Jodaho, be normal. We will not be able to take it. If a 1,000,000-volt current is suddenly passed here, it will simply burn. Our bodies will not be able to withstand. So we should know the divine bodies of the great Acharya Shivananda and the Sampradaya, they were not possessing ordinary body. They had chastened it, purified it through tapasya, and they have burnt all the samskaras within, by which they will be able to take the current of spirituality which God will pour into them, so that they will become conduits for passing out to the posterity. It is not easy. Lot of tapasya is required. Tap means to burn, to heat. Swamiji says heating of higher nature. Vidyadana, Pranadana, and last is Jnanadana. You give them spiritual knowledge by which all their miseries will cease forever. So these are the Chaturveda Dana which accompany doing good service and for which you need the element of sacrifice. Nothing for me, I do it for somebody else. And tremendous austerity and tapas to be able to hold the spiritual current which is poured into you by the divine. That's why Bhagavan Sri Krishna, again the Bhagavad Gita, read the original text. Last chapter, Bhagavan himself says, "O Arjuna, some people say all work should be abandoned. Sarva karma tyaga. Some people say all work can be abandoned, but not three kinds of work. Yajna, dana, tapas, karma, natyajyam. Yajna, dana and tapas. These three kinds of work should not be given up. I will tell you my verdict. Nishchitam matamuttamam. Clear verdict I am giving you. Yajna, dana, tapas, karma, natyajyam karyameva tat. Yajna, dana, tapas, karma has to be done. Yajna tapakarma pavanani manishana, because it purifies you. This once again Bhagavan has taken from the Upanishads. Remember, Gita is the essence of the Upanishads. Sarvo Upanishado Gavo Dagdha Gopalanandana. We know the shloka. Yajnena Danena Tapasa Anashakena Yagyavalkya in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Yajna tapakarma that has to be performed. That is the fundamental basis of spiritual life. What is yajna? In a very simple language, if you look at it, yajna is sacrifice. Swaha, swaha. What do you do there? Not for me, I go on sacrificing. The highest sacrifice your own self. There is a group of people called Mimamsakas in India. Shaddarshanite is there. They said all your talk about Nishkama Karma, etc. useless. In the modern language, the Mimamsakas are the corporate people. The corporate sector people will not do anything without profit. I do this, I will do this yajna, I will go to karma, I will go to this varga. There's everywhere. I want to enter into IIT. What do yajna do? I do the JEE yajna. I want to enter into IIM. I do the CAT yajna. I want to go to the United States of America. I do the GRE yajna and the TOEFL yajna, sub-yajna. These are the yajnas that the modern people perform. Mimamsaka said everybody has to perform yajna because Shruti says, Yavad jivam agnihotram juhuyat, till the end of your life, go on doing this yajna. If you don't do, you are violating the Shruti. Sannyasins can't do yajna. They are sacrificed, they have completely given up yajna. In the normal sense of with the fire. They are called Niragni. Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karotiyaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha niragrina chakriyaha. 6th chapter Bhagavad Gita, 1st stanza. He redefines the whole concept of sannyasa. So Shankara very intelligently satisfies the Mimamsakas. Sannyasins don't perform yajna. What do you mean? He also performs. What yajna? Atma yajna. He sacrifices his own self in the fire of Brahman, which translates into the entire world. Where is Brahman? Brahman is everywhere. For the sake of everybody, for the sake of every being, for the entire world, you sacrifice a little self. That is the yajna which sannyasin performs. So he always, Shankara, whenever in the Bhashya, the word yatihi, sannyasi, he says atmayaji. Yatihi sannyasi atmayaji. He performs atma yajna. His own self he constantly pours in the fire of Brahman. Tasmai brahmane swaha. Part of the sannyasa mantras. So he continuously sacrifices. Now, what kind of sacrifice should you do? It's an internal process of sacrifice, the Brahman which is present everywhere, to that you offer sacrifice in the form of service. Loving compassion, service, chaturvida dana. That is the sacrifice that you do, and internally you have the fire. Jvalamala kulam bhati vishvasmayatanam mahat. There in the mantra, there in the Narayana Upanishad, there he says, there is a fire within which is shining. You kindle that fire. In that perform Virajahoma every day. The sannyasin is supposed to do Virajahoma every day mentally. This is what we were taught in the Ramakrishna tradition. So every day is this fire, Jvalamala Kulam Bhati, then kindle that fire and sacrifice constantly all your blemishes. And all the mantras are beautiful mantras are there. Jyotiraham Viraja Vipapma, etc. So you perform sacrifice inwardly, all your littleness will go, and perform the sacrifice to Brahman who is present everywhere. The Brahman who is immanent in all beings, and the Brahman who is also transcendent. This is the new line of thought which was given in the Upanishads and the Gita, unfortunately lost. So these great acharyas come to revivify and rejuvenate this mantra, this tradition. Shivananda is one of the most illustrious, and I wonder how one young man taking sannyasa 100 years ago could create such a big movement. That means there is a spiritual power associated with the movement created by people genuinely. They have received the command of God and they have lived impeccably pure life of service and contemplation. This is a sampradaya. Shankara was very particular that nobody should immediately claim himself to be alone and then I start a movement. That can't happen. In the Gita Bhashya again, 13th chapter, he says, Asampradaya vid sarva shastra vidapi murkhavadeva upekshaniyaha. Asampradaya vid, a person does not come in sampradaya. Sarva shastra vidapi, he may be learned in all the scriptures. He should be considered murkha and should be neglected and rejected. So this is a great sampradaya in which all of you belong. And we are also proud from the Ramakrishna tradition to be associated with this great tradition. I've come here so many times. My own, I spent a couple of weeks before I became a brahmachari in the Ramakrishna order staying here. And these Swamis are so kind to call me again and again. So I feel so happy to be able to share my thoughts with all of you, coming in this great sampradaya of Swami Shivananda and all the other disciples who went after him, keeping the fire burning. So my only plea and request to me and to all of you, whatever sampradaya, genuine sampradaya of spirituality you follow, keep the fire alive and pass on the cup of inspiration. You have been inspired by the sampradaya, you have been inspired by great teachings of the sampradaya. Keep that and pass it on to others. Be pure, be holy, be selfless. Do good and be good. Holiness and purity have no alternatives. These are the most essential aspects of a sampradaya, and the sampradaya which has been sustained for more than 100 years is a genuine sampradaya in which the current of spirituality flows. Swami Vivekananda wrote in a letter to his disciple, pass on the cup of inspiration, the cup which has satisfied your thirst. I will end with this parable of Sri Ramakrishna in the Gospel. He says, there are two kinds of people. One person with so much of instruments, with spade, etc., he digs a well. After the well is dug and the instrument, he throws the instrument inside the well. There's another type of person who keeps it outside so that it can be useful to somebody else. So, always remember you owe it to your order, you owe it to your acharyas, owe it to your gurus, you owe it to Gurudev that you should pass on the cup of inspiration and pass the good message. The good message is called the gospel. When the Messiah came, the Judeo-Christian tradition, it's a great message. A great person has come. And these great avatars, in whose tradition all these acharyas come, have said, "Come unto me, ye that are weary and heavy laden, and I will give thee rest." Jesus Christ said, "Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam praja, aham tva sarva papebhyo mukshayishyami mashucha." This is Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, and Sri Ramachandra in the Ramayana. Sakradeva prapannaya tavasmi iti achate abhayam sarva bhutebhyo dadam etad vratam mama. All the avatars have said, just come to me. I have the entire thing ready for you. Just take it. That's why the Sri Krishna always says, at the end of it, he says, you need not do anything, just think of me. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaye mam namaskuru. That shloka occurs twice in the Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter end and 18th chapter at the end. And this Bhagavan says, I have taught you the Gita, which he calls Guhyat Taram. Once again, the original Gita you study. Idime jnanam akhyadam guhyat taram maya. Then he says, Sarva guhyat tamam bhuya sruname varam. I have taught you the greatest of secrets, Guhyat Tara. Now I am going to tell you Sarva Guhyat Taram, the most sacred and secretive of all the secrets I am going to tell you. Why? Bhaktos me sakha cheti rahasyam hedatu. You are so dear to me, and I am going to share with you. What is that? Manmana bhava madhubhakto matyaji nam namaskuru. Why do you here and there? I am here. The Avatirana Bhagavan, I have created a sampradaya. So these great gurus who create a sampradaya want the disciples and the followers, whoever comes here, to absorb the spirit of the sampradaya, taste the amrita, the nectar which they have accumulated here, and you taste a little and take something for somebody else also. So when you go here after the celebration, you will be given a packet of amrita, which you carry and share it with all people that you know, you come across, even though they may not want it. That's what I sometimes do. People get unhappy. I will forcefully tell you some shlokas of the Gita, etc. Listen or don't listen. But it shall work. Swamiji said, I compare truth to a corrosive substance of infinite power, which will burn its way wherever it falls, in soft substances at once, in hard granite slowly, but it must. I am so happy to be here and share this view with you. Thank you. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Hari Om. Now I request Pujya Swami Japa Siddhanandaji Maharaj. He will deliver his speech in Sanskrit. He will talk from 4:30 to 4:35. Sorry, 4:30 to 4:45. Pujya Swami Jap Siddhanandaji Maharaj.
श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। यथाग्नेर्दाहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हि या सर्वविद्यास्वरूपान्तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। ॐ नमो भगवते रामकृष्णाय। श्रीमतां स्वामी शिवानंद भगवतां चरणयोः प्रणामान् समर्पयामः। अस्य पवित्र शिवानन्दाश्रमस्य अध्यक्षान् स्वामी योगस्वरूपानंद महाराजान्, उपाध्यक्षान् स्वामी पद्मनाभानंद महाराजान्, अत्र स्थितान् श्रीमदात्मप्रियानंद स्वामी चरणान्, अस्य आश्रमस्य साधारण संपादक महाराजान्, अन्यान् यतिवरान् च सश्रद्धं प्रणम्य अत्र स्थितानां सर्वेषां भक्तजनानाम् अध्यात्मतत्त्वजिज्ञासूनां श्रोतॄणाञ्च शुभाशयान् वदामः। परमपूज्यैः आत्मप्रियानन्दस्वामिभिः अस्माभिः यद्यत् श्रोतव्यं तत्सर्वम् उक्तं, तथापि आत्मनः विशुद्धये कानिचन वचनानि अत्र उदीर्यन्ते। अस्माकं जीवने का इच्छा अस्ति? अस्माकं सर्वेषां जीवने का इच्छा भवति? भगवत्पादाचार्याः वदन्ति सर्वो हि उपरि उपरि एव बुभूषति लोकः। वयं सर्वे किमिच्छामः? अद्य अस्माकं समीपे यावत् धनमस्ति, यत् पदं विद्यते, यावती वा कीर्तिः, श्वः इतोपि अधिकं भवेत् इति इच्छामः। सर्वो हि उपरि उपरि एव बुभूषति लोकः इति। किन्तु इदं कथं सम्पादनीयम् इति वयं न जानीमः। वयम् इच्छामः अद्य एवम् अहम् अभवं, श्वः इतोपि सुखेन भवेयम्, श्वः इतोपि सन्तोषेण भवेयम् इति वयं सर्वे इच्छामः। किन्तु तत् कथं सम्भवति इत्यत्र भ्रान्तिः उपजायते। अतः एव अस्मादृशान् उद्दिश्य श्रुतिर्भगवती आह अन्यच्छ्रेयो अन्यदुतैव प्रेयः ते उभे नानार्थे पुरुषं सिनीतः तयोश्रेय आददानस्य साधु भवति हीयतेऽर्थाद् य उप्रेयो वृणीते। प्रतिदिनम् अस्माकं पुरतः प्रतिमुहूर्तं वस्तुद्वयम् उपतिष्ठते। एकं प्रियं वस्तु, अन्यत् च हितं वस्तु वयं किं चिनुमः किं स्वीकुर्मः इति एतद् अवलम्ब्य भावी जीवनं भवति। श्रीमद् विवेकानंद स्वामी चरणाः यदा बाल्यकाले प्रतिदिनं शयनं गच्छन्तः चित्रद्वयं पश्यन्ति स्म। रात्रौ निद्रायाः पूर्वं नरेन्द्रनाथः श्रीमद्विवेकानंद स्वामी चरणानां पूर्वाश्रम नाम नरेन्द्रनाथ दत्तः। नरेन्द्रनाथः शयानः अस्ति, इतोपि निद्रा न उपनता। तस्य मनसः पुरतः चित्रद्वयं भाति। सः चिन्तयति, अहम् अत्यन्तं प्रसिद्धः धनाढ्यः राजा सार्वभौमः भवेयम्, तादृशं मम जीवनं स्यात् इति एकं चित्रम्। अपरतः दृश्यते सर्वैः ऐषणाभिः सर्वैः ऐषणैः विमुक्तः सर्वसंगपरित्यागी आनंदेन विचरति सन्यासी। इदं चित्रद्वयं तस्य पुरतः भाति। अनन्तरकाले स्वामीचरणाः वदन्ति, प्रतिदिनं किञ्चित् कालं यावत् मनः सन्दिहानं भवति स्म। मम किम् इदं लक्ष्यं, सार्वभौमः यथा स्यात् तथा भवेयम्, अथवा सर्वसंगपरित्यागी भवेयम्। किञ्चित् कालं सन्दिहानं मनः प्रतिदिनं निश्चिनोति स्म, मम तु नित्यानन्दप्रदं सन्न्यासजीवनम् एव भवेत् इति प्रतिदिनं निश्चयः जायते स्म इति वदन्ति। अत्र अस्माकं पाठः अस्ति, बोद्धव्यमस्ति। तर्हि सर्वैः किं सन्न्यासं स्वीकरणीयं? न। अत्र बोधः अयं, प्रतिदिनं श्रेयः एव कुर्याम, प्रेयः न अनुसरेम इति चिन्तनं सर्वेषां युज्यते। एतावद् उक्तं चेदपि संशयः अनुवर्तते एव। आदौ प्रश्नः कः आसीत्? इतोपि अधिकतरम् इच्छामः चेत् सुखम् आनन्दम् अस्माभिः किं करणीयमिति प्रश्नः। श्रेयः एव अनुसरणीयः, प्रेयः न इति उक्ते सत्यपि अस्माकं पुनः संशयः उपजायते, किं श्रेयः किं वा प्रेयः। तथा कष्टकरं नास्ति इदं, किन्तु वयं कष्टम् अनुभवामः। वयम् इत्युक्ते न केवलं वयं, क्वचित् महात्मनामपि अयं संशयः भवति, इयं समस्या बाधते। यथा महात्मा अर्जुनः। अर्जुनः महात्मा इत्युच्यते किमर्थं? स्वयं भगवान् श्रीकृष्णः काण्डवदहनप्रसङ्गे अग्नेः वरं याचते अर्जुने मम मैत्री शाश्वती स्यात् इति एवमस्ति। तादृशः अयम् अर्जुनः, सामान्यः न। महात्मनः अर्जुनः अपि अस्माकं संशयः अभूत्। सः पृष्टवान्, अथ केन प्रयुक्तोऽयं पापं चरति पूरुषः अनिच्छन्नपि वार्ष्णेय बलादिव नियोजितः। अनिच्छन्नपि इदं श्रेयः इदं प्रेयः इति वयं क्वचित् कथञ्चित् आचार्यमुखात् शास्त्रात् वा विज्ञाय अपि न तथा आचरितुं प्रभवामः। तं प्रश्नं पृच्छति अर्जुनः, अथ केन प्रयुक्तोऽयं पापं चरति पूरुषः अनिच्छन्नपि वार्ष्णेय बलादिव नियोजितः। पूर्वं कदाचित् दुर्योधनः अपि इमम् एव विषयम् अवादीत्। जानामि धर्मं न च मे प्रवृत्तिः, जानाम्यधर्मं न च मे निवृत्तिः, केनापि देवेन हृदि स्थितेन यथा प्रेरितः तथा करोमि इति वदति सः। अत्र अर्जुनः यदा प्रश्नम् अकार्षीत् तदा भगवान् श्रीकृष्णः स्पष्टवचनैः वदति, इदम् अवधेयमस्माभिः, भगवद्वाणी स्फुटा अस्ति इति अवधेयं, न तत्र संकीर्णता कन्फ्यूषन् इति नास्ति। स्पष्टवचनैः भगवान् आह, काम एषः क्रोध एषः रजोगुणसमुद्भवः महाशनो महापाप्मा विद्येनमिह वैरिणम्। इदम् उत्तरम्। वयं सर्वदा अध्यात्मपथे गन्तुमिच्छामः, किन्तु न प्रभवामः, न शक्नुमः। किमर्थमित्युक्ते अस्मत्पुरतः अयं शत्रुः स्थितः अस्ति। काम एष क्रोध एष रजोगुणसमुद्भवः। इयं वस्तुस्थितिः। इदम् आदौ सम्यक् ज्ञातव्यम्। तदा ततः मुक्तौ यत्नः कर्तुं शक्यते। एवं भवति चेत् तर्हि सम्प्रति अस्माभिः किं करणीयम्? यतः यदा इन्द्रियवस्तु इन्द्रियविषयः पुरतः भवति चेदेव वयं जागृदवस्थायां भवामः। इन्द्रियविषयः पुरतः नास्ति चेत् वयं निद्रां गच्छामः। यथा अत्र आश्रमे यदा महात्मानः स्वामिनः अत्र उपविश्य वदन्ति, अत्र ज्येष्ठाः सन्ति, ते यदा अत्र उपविश्य वदन्ति, वयं किं कुर्मः? शृण्वन्तः तत्रैव निद्रां प्राप्नुमः। निद्रां प्राप्नुमः। अत एव गीतायाम् उक्तं, या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी, यस्यां जाग्रति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुनेः। अत्र एकम् उत्तरमस्ति, तत् पदं ग्राह्यं। या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी इति उक्तम्। इदम् अस्माकम् उत्तरम्। तर्हि संयमः अस्माभिः अपि अभ्यसनीयः। भगवान् श्रीकृष्णः तदेव अवोचत्। बुद्धेः परं यत् तत्त्वमस्ति तत् बुद्ध्वा। तत्र किं करणीयं? आदौ इन्द्रियाणि संयम्य इति भगवता अपि इदमेव उत्तरं तत्र उक्तम्। अतः अत्र प्रयत्नः कार्यः, तत्र व्याख्या अस्ति, तत् पश्यन्तु अनन्तरम्। अस्माभिः प्रयत्नेन अधुना अग्रे गन्तव्यम्। अस्मिन् अध्यात्मप्रयत्ने महात्मानः, सन्यासिनः, यतिवराः, आचार्याः सर्वेपि अस्मान् आशीर्वदन्तु। भगवान् च अस्मासु शक्तिं पूरयतु इति प्रार्थयामहे। अध्यात्मपथे प्रगतिम् आसादयितुं यद्यदपेक्षितं तत्सर्वम् अस्मासु भवतु इति परस्मिन् ब्रह्मणि सम्प्रार्थ्य वाचं विरमयामि। सर्वेषां हार्दाः नमस्काराः। जय रामकृष्ण।
Hari Om. We are very much thankful to Pujya Swami Atma Priyananji Maharaj and Pujya Swami Japasiddhananji Maharaj, who accepted our invitation and for delivering a very inspiring speech on this auspicious occasion. Thank you, Swamiji. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते शिवानंदाय। 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 I request all sadhakas to take their seats because we have one more lecture of Param Pujya Swami Ramcharananand Tirthji Maharaj. I humbly request to Pujya Swami Ramcharananand Raman Charanananda Tirchi Maharaj to take his seat on the dais.
Yes.
नमः परमर्षिभ्यो नमः परमर्षिभ्यः हरिः ओम। यस्यान्तन्नादिमध्यं न हि करचरणं नाम गोत्रं न सूत्रं नो जातिर्नैव वर्णा न भवति पुरुषो न नपुंसं न च स्त्री नाकारं नो विकारं न हि जनिमरणं नास्ति पुण्यं न पापं तत्त्वं नो तत्त्वमेकं सहजसमरसं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। मौनव्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानं वर्षिष्टान्तेव सदृशिगणैरावृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे वेदान्तार्थविभासकाय यतये शान्ताय सन्न्यासिने नानावादिनगेन्द्रसङ्घपवये योगीन्द्रवन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्तदिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभितां बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततं पूर्णाय बोधात्मने अपारसच्चित्सुखवारिराशेः यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि। देहं मृण्मयवज्जडात्मकमहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तदभावसुप्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधियां दृष्ट्वात्मनिष्ठात्मनां सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। ॐ नमः परमहंसपरिव्राजकाचार्यवरेण्येभ्यः वेदान्तविज्ञानसुनिश्चितार्थेभ्यः विशुद्धब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायाध्वप्रदर्शकेभ्यः श्रीगौडपादाचार्य श्रीशङ्करभगवत्पादाचार्य श्रीसुरेश्वराचार्येभ्यः नमो गुरुभ्यः। we have assembled here on this blessed occasion of Pujya Gurudev Swami Shivanandaji Maharaj 100th year of his Paramahamsa Ashrama, Sannyasa Ashrama. And yesterday we had an introduction to this talk. The Sannyasa Ashrama is for Jnanam. Actually, it is Jnanam that is Sannyasa Ashrama. And what for is Jnanam? Jnanam is, of course, knowledge. And here it is the knowledge of our own real nature. Yasmin vidite sarvamidam vijñātam syāt. By knowing which everything else is known. The Upanishad says, know that. Eka vijñānena sarva vijñānam. Till one comes to know the Lord within as one's own real nature, as oneself, whatever one may achieve in one's life, one will not attain peace, shanti. This is a declaration of the Upanishad. The Shvetashvatara Upanishad says with very powerful simile, analogy or whatever you may call. Yada charmavad akasham veshtayishyanti manavaha tada devam avijñāya dukkhasya antaha bhavishyati. Suppose you become you attain so much expertise to roll the space, the sky. You can roll it like a leather mat. Of course, we know that it is impossible. If you can do that, then perhaps Devam avijñāya, without knowing the Deva within you, without knowing the Atman within you, you might attain dukkhasya anta, the end of sorrow. So the sorrow is something which is there in front of you. Even Buddha, of course we know that he was a prince and there was a great kingdom in front of him, but he chose this path of begging, this bhikshucharya. We know the story. He saw death, he saw old age, he saw disease, he saw the sorrow of coming into existence, embodiment in this world. Everything was revealed to him. And that prince Siddhartha, he was 29 years old at that time, he chose this path of nivritti. And why did he do that? He was just wandering about in search of master, in search of a guru. Of course, he had a training with many masters of his time. So on the way, King Bimbisara asked him, why are you doing this? You are a prince. You can own the kingdom, you can become an emperor, a king, a chakravarti. You could have enjoyed your kingdom. Then Siddhartha said, I also love to enjoy this life. I want to enjoy this life. But I have found that there are troubles. Yadi janma jara maranam na bhavet. Yadi cha ishtaviyoga bhayam na bhavet. Yadi sarvam anityamidam na bhavet. Iha janmani kasya ratir na bhavet. If there is no janma jara maranam, if there is no old age, birth, old age, decay, disease, pain of separation, if these things are not there, I also love to live in this world, enjoy this world. But I find that there are forces around you which will not allow you to be peaceful. So I want to find out how to be free, to be absolutely free. To attain that, by knowing which I can be in Shanti, Nirvanakya Shanti. Shankaracharya says, Shantim Nirvana Paramam, Bhagavan says in Gita. Shantim Nirvana Paramam Matsamstham Adhigachati. So that Shanti I want to have. We can call that Shanti as God, as Ishvara. Once one devotee has written a letter to Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. In that letter he has written, Bhagavan, I don't want self-realization. I am not even seeking God or any yoga siddhi. I want only Shanti, peace. Reading that letter, Bhagavan said, what else is God realization? What else is the greatest siddhi? The greatest siddhi is Shanti. Shanti is moksha. Shanti is bhakti. Shanti is jnana. Shanti is Atmaswarupa. Swami Tapovan Maharaj, before coming to Himalayas, he was doing tremendous inner work. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, constantly. And at that time, he was contemplating what should be the element that we should contemplate. Nididhyasana. Shravana, you are listening to the scripture and reflecting on the meaning, that is manana. And what is the element by catching hold of which I should hold on inside so that samadhi, the swarupanubhuti, can be stable. In that state, he went to Tiruvannamalai. In Virupaksha cave, he saw Maharshi. But he didn't speak. Maharshi also did not speak. He just sat there. And while coming down, he said, now I got the clue. The thing that I have to hold within is this Shanti Shanti Brahma Shanti Saagad. He says that Brahma Shanti, that Shantim Nirvana Paramam. Because the Shanti is the only element which is not made of one. Even spiritual experiences, some mystical experiences also, you have to use the mind intensely, so it touches all the nervous centers, as Swamiji told now. The nerves, all they get affected. But Shanti is something which has nothing to do with the body or the mind or the nerves, and you can remain in that state for minutes, hours, days, always. You will not get tired by that. You will not get tired by that. Even ecstasy, spiritual ecstasy, you will get tired. You will get exhausted. The nerves will get affected. It has some touch of Prakriti there. But this peace, this Shanti has no touch of Prakriti. Because it is the self. Shanto yamatma. The very nature of the self is Shanti. That is why Bhagavatam says, after experiencing all the bhavas, and at last like rivers going and merging in the ocean, Tatah param shanti mupaiti sakshat. The mind enters into great peace, profound peace. And that profound peace is the nirvana, it is Brahman, it is the Atma Swarupa. So you get a glimpse of it in the presence of a mighty sage, in the presence of a Jivan Mukta. You get a glimpse of it. And once you get a glimpse of it, you know that is the thing. That is the element. It is just like a million rupees. Million rupees, it is all made of 1 rupee coin, 1 rupee. So every 1 rupee makes the million rupee. Like that, one moment of peace, one moment of that shanti, one moment of amani bhava, the state where the mind is not, the state where the mind is not, that is the self. You just get a glimpse of the self, then hold on to it. Then you go on contemplating on that state, doing that what Swamiji said, that ekagnihotra, putting ahuti of every thought, every emotion into that and abiding in that, that is for holding on to that peace. After Shastra Jnana also one takes to sannyasa ashrama, this Paramahamsa ashrama. And yesterday we said, even in Grihastha ashrama it is possible. You can attain that state of jnana. It is quite possible. In Aitareya Upanishad Bhashya, Shankaracharya has an elaborate discussion where he discusses with Purvapaksha and Siddhanta whether sannyasa is needed or not. Of course, those who have read the Upanishad Bhashyam, they know Shankaracharya is always for sannyasa. He will be always arguing that you need sannyasa. But in the Aitareya Bhashya, he says, a grihastha cannot devote all his time for this realization. So he will have a pinch of mamata. This house is mine, this is my wife, this is my children. And something happens to them, you get affected. So these things are there. So you need this ashrama for absolute undisturbed Brahmanishta. So the Purva Pakshi comes with a very beautiful argument. Purva Pakshi means you raise a doubt or a good argument, a debate, a dialogue. So the Purva Pakshi says, suppose a person is a grihastha, as many of the devotees are here, and he can devote all his time for God, for Brahma Vichara, Atma Vichara. And he is not spending his energy for anything else. Then what about him? Then Shankaracharya said, by your very definition, he has become a sannyasi. Sannyasa is not, traditionally it is not accepting something from someone. It is not even the ochre robe. It is not even mundana. Of course, mundana is said, vivarnavasa mundi aparigraha. Vivarnavasa, it is not colored cloth. It is some very dim colored cloth, unattractive cloth. And he just uses things which are used by others. It is utter simplicity. And in that utter simplicity is chosen so that you need not unnecessarily scatter your energy for other things. And you can devote your complete time for Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Or in Bhakti Marga also sannyasa is there. See, in Vishishtadvaita, Dvaita, And of course, Shivanji Maharaj, Ramakrishna Mission, everywhere you have the upasana also is there in sannyasa, karma also is there in sannyasa. So there also you can devote your time for either unselfish action or for complete meditation, japa, dhyana. As Swami Vivekananda said in his inspired talks, let a few souls live for God and for God alone, and let the world go. Have no compromise. This is a very powerful statement. Let a few souls live for God. Only those few are there. Once there was a great simple childlike saint in Ramanashram, Kunjaswami. I have met him many times. Very unassuming saint. Actually, he took sannyasa from Rishikesh, but never used his real sannyasa nama there. Everybody called him Kunjaswami. Because when he came to Ramana Maharshi, he was very small. And he was called as Kunju means small, the little one. So he was called Kunju. His name was Kumaraharanandagiri. That was his sannyasa nama. So once one youngster approached Swami, very arrogant attitude, and he said, Swami, you all are wasting your time. All these sannyasa, you are all like parasites to the society. See, so many problems are there in the world. Financial problems, poverty is there, and political problems are there. And of course, you can see in families also there is a lot of problems. And even in religion, lot of problems of conversion and many other problems are there. And you are staying inside this jungle, in this ashram, insensitive to all these problems. He was going on blah blah blah. And Kunjaswami was very quiet, peaceful, simple, listening. And he allowed him to finish his energy. After that, Kunjaswami said, Mudichutela? Yes. Finished? You have finished? Yes. Then, very calm way, he said, see, the family problems, elders in the family have to interfere and rectify the problems. They are there. And regarding social problems, great social leaders are there. They are responsible, they know better. And political problems, politicians are there, government is there, court is there, they will deal with it. And religious problem, great matadhipatis are there. It is their dharma, they know the shastra, they are great scholars, they know the vibe of society, so they can deal with those problems. Now sadhu, in Tamil he said, I am just a sadhu, I do not know anything. What are you expecting me to do? And that person just melted. He could not further talk anything. And then one devotee who was with Kunjaswami, after that boy went away, he asked Swamiji, how did you deal with such simplicity? Because this person has given trouble to many other sannyasis. And you dealt with him with such a remarkable way. Kunjaswami said, Bhagavan has given us that training. Bhagavan said, if somebody wants to defeat you, Allow him to defeat you. And that is sannyasa dharma. Suppose if he comes and attacks you under the carpet, in Tamil, carpet means chamati. Under the carpet, you go under the kolam. You know kolam, rangoli. If possible, you go underneath the rangoli. Just surrender. Because you are not here to fight with others. You are not here to win any match in this world. Nirmatsaranam satam vedyam. As Bhagavata says, the very beginning, the Paramahamsa dharma is, I am not here for matsarya. I am not here for competing with anybody to become first, come first anywhere. I am just here. I will sit in the last bench. I want only the inner one. Ishvara, nothing else. So one who chooses only Bhagavan, nothing else. His choice is Bhagavan, he is a sannyasi. Shivanji Maharaj, it is actually, we can speak about humility, but it is very difficult. But devotees, many devotees have told how Shivanji Maharaj first conquered them by his humility, by his love. Many sadhakas, many disciples, first when they came to Shivanandaji Maharaj, the first encounter was one specific incident I remember. I don't remember the name. One devotee has written that when he wanted to meet great Shivananda Saraswati Swami, so when he came here, Swamiji was standing there, he could not recognize. Those days, of course, we do not have YouTube or so much of magazines or anything. So he asked, I have come here to meet Shivananda Saraswati Swami. And Shivananda Swami just fell flat before him, touched his feet and said, what do you want? How can I serve you? He was just shocked. See, that is not namaskara. That is, in Tamil we call tadutha atkollal. The first treatment for the ego. Sri Ramakrishna did this with Girish Chandra Ghosh. Girish Chandra Ghosh was a great dramatist, a great drama writer. He was very proud about his achievement. So when Ramakrishna came to see his drama, Chaitanya Charitavali, one of Ramakrishna's disciples went to Girish Chandra Ghosh and told him, Thakur has come. Ramakrishna, the great saint of Dakshineshwar, has come. Will he be excused from taking the ticket? Girish Chandra Ghosh said, okay. Let him not take ticket, but all of you, the chelas who have come with him, all of you should take the ticket. He said, okay, we will take the ticket. And will you please come and receive him? Girish Chandra Ghosh said, can he not come inside without my reception? Then, okay, I will come. He came and stood in a distance. The moment Ramakrishna saw him, Ramakrishna just bowed low before him. And Girish Chandra Ghosh could not resist. He also said, Namaskar. Then Ramakrishna again did another Namaskar. He did another Namaskar. And at last Girish gave up. Girish said, my first failure was in Namaskara. Thakur conquered me by Namaskara. So that is my first surrender. And the second is, of course, very famous incident where Girish Chandra Ghosh went to Ramakrishna and said, can you give me that experience? Ramakrishna said, can you do sadhana? What is sadhana? I will give you a mantra. You have to chant the mantra at least for 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the night. Girish Chandra Ghosh said, if I can do that much, why I need you? I will myself put effort and attain God. So I have come to you asking for some simple method. See, in Bhagavatam also, every devotee is asking this, Anjasa. How will I attain God in a very simple way? So Ramakrishna said, okay, then you need not do 6 hours, do it only in night, 3 hours. Then Girish Chandra Ghosh said, all my dramas will be in night. So I cannot guarantee. If I give you word, I have to do that Nama Japa. So if I give word, I have to do it. I cannot do that. No time. So why don't you do it in the daytime? Daytime I sleep. Night will be the drama, daytime I sleep, I cannot do. Then Ramakrishna said, before taking food, chant Bhagavan Nama. Girish Chandra Ghosh said, I will be standing and eating while I am directing the drama. I cannot guarantee you. Then Ramakrishna said, okay, give me your power of attorney. You hand over your power of attorney. You give all your self, your ego to me. I will do sadhana for you. And Girish Chandra Ghosh was delighted. He said, I was searching for such a guru. So I have got such a guru. What should I do? He said, from your heart tell that I have handed over everything to you. Yes. Now you are free. Girish Ghosh later on told, then only I understood I was completely imprisoned. Because I cannot even take a breath without thinking him. I cannot take a cup of water without thinking about him. So I was completely conquered. So this conquering, we need a master. We need the presence of a mighty being where you can surrender your ego. The great saint of Tiruvannamalai, Arunagirinathar, he has written a work on Murugan, Subramanya, Kandara Anubhuti, where he says, what is the truth, which they call as God or Atman or Self? Yano Manamo, Yano Udayamo, Navin Non Marayo. He is asking questions, whether it is Jnana, whether it is the Vedas, whether it is this, that, and at last he says, Yenai anda idam tano purulavati shanmukhane. He says, the source, the space which conquered me, which swallowed my ego, which swallowed my doership, ego. And that is the element, that is the principle which reigns supreme. That is it. That is why you need a master, you need a guru. As Swamiji said, Shastrajnopi Swatantriyena Brahmanveshanam na kuryat. As Bhashyakara has said, even if he knows all the Shastras, he should not venture to walk in this path without a true master. Shrotriyasya akamahatasya. The Shruti again and again repeats. You need a Shrotriya, a Brahmanishta, a Jivan Mukta, because only from a real flame you can light your lamp. You cannot light your lamp from a photo. You need real fire, and from that fire you can light your inner lamp. For that only so many from various places rushed to Swami Shivanji Maharaj. See, in those days Rishikesh was, many who have visited Swamiji has written, it is very difficult to stay here. Now itself, people complain about, I am not having this, I am not having that. But in those days, I have heard, even now when I see Padmanabhan Swamiji's room, I feel ashamed to stay there. in Divya Sanidhya. It's all very comfortable. But they used to say about Vimalanandaji's stay in that, what is that place called? Yes, that temple is very small, very, because they had only that facility in those days. They used to wear the sack. And real sannyasa dharma. And so much, see, Chidananda Swami, Chidanandaji Maharaj has come from a very well-to-do family, rich family. Even Shivanji Maharaj was also from a very rich family. Why should they live such a life? And why should they suffer? For whom? For what? And the choice was theirs, and there was great joy in that. They were not ready to go back. Our Swamiji, Yogaswarupan Swamiji said, I came here thinking that I can just walk in the Himalayas and go to heaven like the Pandavas. I had no idea about this Brahmajnana or this spiritual path. I just landed here and first met Swami Krishnanji Maharaj, and he gave him some work. And in between, I very much love that words. He said, why don't you stay here? You know typewriting, you have interest in spiritual life, why don't you stay here? Swamiji said, I said, no, I have to go back. I thought there is Himalayas, I can go walk ahead, but I find nothing here. So I will go back. I will stay only 10 days. And Swamiji told me, till today the 10 days are not over. So with all that difficulty, they have stayed here. The difficulty is, outward difficulty is there. Outward suffering is there. In Tamil, there is a great bhakti work, Thiruvachakam. It's one of the greatest spiritual literatures of the world, mystical literature. The bhakti, the element of the viraha, purifying, everything is there inside. There Manikavachakar says, Uuninai urukki ulloli perukki. He says, by melting the body, by melting the flesh, bone, the inner effulgence is nourished. The inner effulgence becomes more and more radiant, but the physical body, the physical flesh, the bone, everything is just melted. The difficulty is only for the body. See, Bhagavan Ramana, when he was wandering about in Arunachala hill, he had only one kaupina, no spare kaupina. One day that kaupina was torn. He took a thorn from the hill. Even now you can see that thorn. It will be like a needle. He took a thorn and put a hole there and took a thread, separated a thread from his Bhinna kaupina. And with that thread, he stitched the kaupina and wore it. He didn't tell anyone. He had only one towel and it had so many holes that Muruganar later on said, Indra came in the form of towel to serve. Because Indra is Sahasraksha. He has 1,000 eyes. So he came in the form of the towel to serve. So he will cleanse the body with the towel and hide it underneath a rock so that nobody will find. Because if someone sees it, they will bring a new towel. So he didn't want it. So he just will hide it in under a rock. And one boy made fun of it. One shepherd boy, he saw that. He said, Swami, unga towel governor ku venuma kudupela. In those days, governor was very much respected. So he said, governor is coming here to ask for your towel. Will you give him that? Bhagavan said, like an emperor, I told him, no, I will not give. In that state, Maharshi wrote a song, where he says, Annamalai Adiyenai Anda Andre Avi Udal Kondai Yanakku or Kurai Undo. This is a very beautiful song where he says, the moment you conquered me as Arunachala, you took over my body, you took over my mind, and I have nothing is lacking. I am full. I am whole. Because there is prosperity inside. Shanti samruddham amritam iti prachina yogyopasva. The Veda says, hey, oh, the ancient seeker, the prachina yogya, you do upasana like this. As Shanti samruddham amritam, as the abundant peace is Brahman, abundant peace is Atman, abundant peace is your Swarupa. You are Shanti. You meditate like that. Atmetyeva upasita. You meditate that your very Atman, your very self is Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So that Shanti was so much that the physical trouble, the physical pain, the physical suffering is nothing. I have seen many rich people in total depression. So much money they have, they do not know what to do with that money. They have every comfort. In fact, it is the research topic that many have written that mostly people committing suicide are all rich people. Very rarely poor people commit suicide. Because sometimes, poverty, Bhagavata says, Bhagavan gives poverty to a person when he likes that person. Bhagavata says, because money can destroy a person, so that yasya anugraham ichchami tasya vittam haramyaham. If I want to bless a person, I will just steal his wealth. I will just take away his wealth, so that he will become poor and he will know the pain of others also. He will know what is hunger. He will know what is thirst. Otherwise, he is so comfortable, he will never know the difficulty of poverty, difficulty of hunger, difficulty of thirst. So he will, daridrya is not that bad. Sometimes it is the first step of spiritual life. Even in Bhagavata, people speak much about the poverty of Kuchela. But you know how it begins, that story? Kuchela's, that episode in Bhagavatam, Krishnasya asit saka kashit. This is the first sentence. There was a friend of Krishna, Brahmana. He was a Brahmana, not an ordinary Brahmana, Brahmavittamaha. He was a great knower of Brahman. He was a realized soul. Brahmano Brahmavittamaha Viraktaha Indriyartheshu. He was dispassionate towards all the sensory objects. Prashantatma. In that poverty, he was Prashantatma. He was peaceful, very calm. Jitendriyaha. Has controlled the senses completely. He was a samyami. So such a person was welcomed by the Lord with horripilation, with romanja. The moment Krishna touched Sudama, he had goosebumps. He had tears in his eyes. Sakyuhu priyasya viprarshehe anga sanga ati nirvrtaha prito vyamunjad abbindun netrabhyam pushkarekshanaha. The Lord shed tears by touching this Brahmana, because he was a real saint. So, this yatyashrama, this is our subject, this is yatyashrama, sannyasashrama, which Shivanandaji Maharaj took and which he recommended for everyone who deserves it. What is the greatness of it? Tapovan Maharaj says, even the devas are longing to attain that state. Devairapi kamchitam turiyashram. Kamchitoyam ashramaha. Even devas, they are all longing to have that turiya ashrama. So this Paramahamsa ashrama, he becomes the friend of all. In Bhagavata it is there, Sarva Bhuta Suhrit Shantaha Jnana Vijnana Nishayaha Pashyan Madatmakam Vishwam Na Vipadyeta Vai Punaha. He looks at everyone as his self and he is a friend of all. He has no Bheda Buddhi. Once when Ananda Mahima was in Haridwar, one bhikshu asked Ananda Mahima, recorded, it is there, Mataji, what is Vedanta? He asked, of course in Bengalis, they usually never pronounce wa, they pronounce ba. So he asked Vedanta. And Mataji said, your question itself contains the answer. Vedanta is Vedanta. Vedanta is Vedanta. When Bheda is removed, it is Vedanta. When Dvaita is removed, when separation is removed, Udaramantaram kurute athatasya bhayam bhavati. Even a little bit of separation, even a little bit of ragadvesha, samsara is there. Samsaraha phalavaanstatra. Samsara is very effective. A little bit of separation, pain is hiding there. So remove all the separation. A person can remove all the separation in this Paramahamsa ashrama. Hence, that is why the Shruti is Bhuteshu Bhuteshu Vijitya Dhiraha Pretyasma Lokad Amrita Bhavanti. Whomever they meet, they have the X-ray vision. They look into that person and see only the divine there. Neither the body nor the mind, the inner one, the inner spirit, the inner self. And that vision, that seeing only the Atman everywhere, seeing only God everywhere, there is no raga or dvesha, there is no attachment or aversion, and the inner peace, that inner samadhi remains undisturbed. And that is the Jivan Mukta Avastha, where the peace, the shanti remains undisturbed. Esha Brahmi Sthitif Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati Sthitva Syam Antakalebi Brahma Nirvana Mirchati. Even if you attain this state in your last days, you will attain Brahma Nirvana. With this goal, many take to this ashrama. One of the Shruti that is often quoted is Tapashraddhe yehi upavasanti aranye shanto mahantaha bhaikshcharyam sharantaha suryadvarena te virajaha prayanti yatramritah purusho sah avyayatma. So this bhaikshcharyam sharanti comes here in the Shruti. And Pravrajana is also given. Putradi eshanatraya sannyase eva adhikaraha na karmasu ishvara bhavanaya yuktasya. These are all bhashya vachanas for sannyasa ashrama. And one of the most powerful pramana for this comes in the Mundagopanishad. Nayam atma balahinena labhyaha nacha pramadat tapaso vapi alingat. The Shruti says this Atman cannot be attained by the weak, the feeble. You should have the balam. Balam means strength. And what is the strength? It is the balam of jnanam. It is not the physical strength. It is the balam of jnanam, because the world will come to you and tell you, I am here. This body is here, mind is here, senses are here. And your jnanam tells you only the Atman is there. This upadhi is mithya. This constant conflict will be there. And you win when your jnanam overpowers the invasion of names and forms. You see only the Satchidananda. That jnanam is so powerful that it has reached such a state where you see only Bhagavan. You see only Atma everywhere. Tapo atra jnanam lingam sannyasaha. For that, Bhashyakara says, you need sannyasa. Lingam atra sannyasa. This linga, this kashaya, mundana is all called linga. So that linga is needed for those who choose complete spiritual life. No other engagement, nothing else. Only Ishvara Aradhana, only Jnana Vichara. Even in Vividisha Sannyasa means a seeker, not the Jnani. A seeker, even for him, this ashrama is prescribed so that he can completely devote his life for self-enquiry, Atma Vichara, undisturbed. See, in former days, it is not that easy to be free of rituals. It is not that easy. In these days, nobody will inquire. But in those days, a person cannot very easily come out of these Vedic rites, Vedic rituals. He has to do many things. Even Manusmriti, Manu says, Rinani Trini Apakritya Mano Mokshe Niveshayet. After satisfying all the rinas, the debts that you owe to your pitris, bhuta, or your own life, you have to do the grihastha ashrama, you have to finish. After finishing everything, without anything to hold you back, then you take to sannyasa ashrama. And many people quote this Smriti Vakya and tell, see, Manu has said, without going through this road, you should not take sannyasa. This argument is very safe, and it is also true with the majority. But Sureshwaracharya, Vartikakara, Shankaracharya's disciple, we know the story that he was a great ritualist. He was a Mimamsaka. He was a Karma Mimamsaka. According to the story, he was the disciple of Kumarila Bhatta. And he was very well known all through India, Bharatavarsha. Shankaracharya went to his home, had a dialogue, debate with him, conquered him, and made him surrender and gave him sannyasa. You know why Shankaracharya put so much effort? Because he found that this Mandana Mishra is a very precious person. He is a great hidden treasure. Although he appears like a Mimamsaka, a Jivan Mukta is hidden inside him. So he went there. Shankaracharya conquered both the husband and wife. His wife, Ubhaya Bharati, was also a scholar. And the story goes, she was Saraswati herself. So she asked Shankaracharya, you are taking my husband as a sannyasi. What should I do? Shankaracharya said, you are Divine Mother herself. You also come with us. See, that much of freedom was there. So you also come with us. And he installed her in Sringeri as Sharada. And she was considered as Saraswati herself. She might have been a Brahmavit, a Jivan Mukta, Rishikaha. There were many Rishikas. So she might have been one of them. So when Sureshwaracharya was taken by Shankaracharya, many other disciples of Shankaracharya had a doubt, because he was a very strong, fanatic ritualist, a Mimamsaka. Now Acharya has given him sannyasa. Of course he was defeated, but he will be hiding all his opinions and views inside. So we do not know. He will bring all that inside the Advaita also. They had all this opinion. See, so many disciples mean so many problems. Bhagavata says, Vase bahunam kalaha dvayor varta bhavedapi eka eva charet tasmat kumarya iva kankana. For a true yati, he should move about alone, because if you have three, there will be fight. If you have two, there will be discussion. So better for meditation, walk alone. Eka eva charet. So this is the instruction. So when Shankaracharya took Sureshwara, all this murmuring was there around. Even the great Mapada, the story is said that he also opened his mind and said, I very much doubt. Because Shankaracharya asked Sureshwara to write a Vartikam for Brahma Sutra. So all these things came up. Then Shankaracharya said, okay, write a book on the state of actionlessness, the state free of all actions, doership, enjoyership, kartrutva, bhoktrutva, vihina, yeshanatraya parityaga lakshanaha dharmaha, asmin vishaye. That Paramahamsa dharma where one is completely free. Write a book on that. And Sureshwara wrote Naishkarmya Siddhi. The very name of the book is Naishkarmya Siddhi, freedom from all action. Of course, the name comes from Bhagavad Gita. Asakta buddhi sarvatra jidatma vigataspraha Naishkarmya Siddhim paramam sanyasena adhigacchati. Through sannyasa he attains Naishkarmya Siddhi, freedom from all action. So he wrote Naishkarmya Siddhi, and in the Vartikam of Brihadaranyakam, you should not forget, I quoted one verse from Manusmriti, where Manu says, only after finishing Brahmacharyasrama, Grihasthasrama, Vanaprasthasrama, you should go to sannyasa. This is the Smriti. And the great teacher Acharya Shankara, as quoting this Smriti, he has taken to sannyasa from his brahmacharya. At the age of 8, he left Kerala and went to Madhya Pradesh, took sannyasa under Govinda Bhagavat Pada. But he says, this Smriti is a pramana that Manu quotes, that the intention was, you should at least spend your life for God after retirement. With that intention, Shankaracharya quoted this Smriti and said, Rinani trini apakritya mano mokshe niveshayat. But you know, Sureshwaracharya, who was a householder and then took to sannyasa, the moment he took to sannyasa, you know, he became fire. And he is a Vartikakara. He is commenting on the Bhashya of Shankaracharya, and Shankaracharya is quoting this Smriti and says, you should take to sannyasa after Grihasthashrama, after Vanaprastha. Sureshwaracharya says, Apasmriti. This is not Smriti, this is Apasmriti. Because there are many places in Shruti where it is explicitly said that the purpose of life is to realize Brahman, that jnana. So you can take to jnana at any time of your life, whether in brahmacharya, whether in garhastya, whether in vanaprastha. So wherever you want, you can take to ashrama. So this Shruti, Sureshwaracharya says, he says, Shatashaha vidyate shrutau. Hundreds of statements are there that the purpose of life is jnanam, and you can take to jnanam at any time if the force comes, people sometimes they say you can go to spiritual life only after Shashti Abda Purti, after 60 years old. Somebody told me this. I told him, is there any rule that a person can become mad only after retirement? If somebody becomes mad when he was 20 years old, you give him an advice, see, you should not become mad now. You can attain that insanity only when you are old. See, insanity is a force that comes from within. Like that is only spiritual quest also. Swami Vivekananda said, quoting Ramakrishna, he said, some are mad after money, some are mad after worldly pleasures, some are mad after recognition, and very few are there who are mad after God. If sinking is the fate of man, then it is better to sink in a pool of milk than to sink in a pool of dung. If you have to take a dip, better take dip in nectar. Why should you take a dip in dirt, in a sewage? So this is the argument. So when you want God, whatever may be your stage of life, that is the greatest dharma. When that force comes inside, one Grihastha said to Ramana Maharshi, I feel this family life is great trouble. I want to take to sannyasa. Maharshi said, family did not give you trouble, your mind is giving you trouble. Now you say family gives you trouble. If you go to sannyasa ashrama, some other trouble will come. You can attain jnana here itself. Then that person asked Maharshi, then why did you leave your house? When you were only 17. Then Maharshi said, I did not ask anybody like you whether I should renounce. Because the force just pulled me and just I came out. That's all. It's a swabhava. That is the answer of Vedanta. Why should a Vidwan renounce? See, even Ramana Maharshi, he has attained jnana before renunciation. In Madurai itself he has attained that jnana. Then you could have continued there. Why should we come to Tiruvannamalai, live as a beggar, begging in the streets of Tiruvannamalai? That is the nature. And Bhagavan says, in the language of bhakti, he says, Arunachala made this body do this. Mottai adittu enai vetta veliyil nee nattamadinayan Arunachala. He says, Arunachala, you tonsured my head and you made me wander about here. Maharshi tried to, yesterday I told the story of Muruganar. He also became a sannyasi and his wife was every day come to Tiruvannamalai and to Bhagavan and said, Bhagavan, why don't you give back my husband? Bhagavan tried very much. He told Muruganar, see, your wife is here, you go back. He tried many times, he could not. Then at last Bhagavan said, Meenakshi, leave him. See, in this world so much sorrow is there, suffering is there. Why do you want this world? I am with you. You will not have any trouble. Don't bother him. And he was very compassionate to that lady Meenakshi. And one day, Maharshi made much fun of Muruganar because his mind was always in that state. He will not be able to do any work. One day he tried a service, cutting vegetable in the kitchen. And Maharshi was doing that work very perfectly, very skillfully, very clean. And Muruganar was putting everything, helters everywhere. Just it was a chaos there. All bits and pieces lying here and there. Maharshi looked at the work that he has done and said, see, you know the work that you have done, you know how it looks? It looks like your family life. The way ni kudutana nadathana madri irukku. And Muruganar became very emotional. He wrote a song in which he made fun of Bhagavan. He said, you are very dexterous, very skillful. Why don't you get married and live with a woman? Because you know how to lead a good family life. Okay, I have failed. You know, Nakkarahi Nayant Ramanare Pukku Pichai Pulambitterivaden. Oh Ramana, why do you wander about in this Arunachala naked, begging for your food? You know very well to run a great organization, a family. Why don't you lead a family life? Why do you ask me to do that? Pukku Pichai Pulambitterivaden Takkavaru Tayyarutaviyar Shikkana Kudivarkai Shaluttume. And Shikkanam in Tamil means very judicious, very disciplined way. So you know how to run a family life. So because that the inner one made them like that. They could not do anything else. They tried otherwise, but that was so powerful. The pull of Paramahamsa Ashrama was so powerful. And that is the call of Bhagavan. When Bhagavan calls, the Gopikas, they did not wait to finish their work. They just dropped the work and went to Bhagavan. The moment they heard the flute, the music of Krishna, they just dropped their work wherever it was, in whatever condition it was, and they just went to Krishna, because that is, see, Abhedananda Swami in Abhedashram, I was giving Bhagavata talk there, so I read one incident. He was very close with Gurudev and with Swami Chidananji Maharaj. He was like an Avaduta. He was a great Bhagavata also. So one day his wife, in his former ashrama, his wife asked him to buy some vegetables. So he went to the market to get vegetables and disappeared. Because he had an inner call. It was not the last sannyasa. He had an inner call. He just took the bus and took some train and went to Vrindavan. And you know, after 2 years he returned to his family. He was not a sannyasi at that time. He returned to his family. And after that his wife was afraid to send him to buy vegetables. Because if he goes to take vegetables, he will go to Vrindavan. Because the call is irresistible. So, when he calls you, there is a statement of Aurobindo. Somebody told Aurobindo, I will take to this life when he calls. Aurobindo wrote back, he calls, he always calls, you have put off your receiver. So when your receiver is on, when you are able to listen to that call, then you will have this blessedness of complete, full spiritual life. It has nothing to do with tonsuring the head or the ochre robe, or outer joining some institution. You can have this realization, godly life, even in your house also. I will just narrate a small practical anecdote and stop today. There was one Swami in Chennai. He was very well known amongst Orthodox circle. Govinda Damodara Swamigal was called Triplicant Swami. He was a great Bhagavata exponent. Shivaramakrishna Shastri. And he used to read Bhagavatam to Kanchi Paramacharya. Every time he will expound Bhagavata Saptaham to him. And he was a great Virakta, no desire for money, no desire for fame, name. Very orthodox. Formerly he was working in some post office or somewhere. And he was expounding. This story I heard only. Then he had so much trouble in his family life also. Was undergoing so much pain in his family life, but he was so much devoted to Krishna, Guru Ayyappan, and he will read Bhagavatam, Narayaniyam, very, very devoted Upasaka, spending all his time in Parayana, Japa, Dhyana, like that. So, Kanchi Paramacharya before his Samadhi told him to take sannyasa. This is the story that I heard, but he was afraid to take it. Thinking about the consequence of it, the seriousness of it, he was afraid to touch it. So later on, after Paramacharya's Samadhi, he felt, my Guru has told me to take sannyas, what will I do? And the basic problem is, if I take sannyas from somebody, I have to obey them. And if they have an ashrama, I have to stay there. I have to move away from my house and stay somewhere. It is all okay because there is no need for him. But he had a great spiritual practice. Right from the morning till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, he will have the Parayana, Japa, Anushtana, everything. And he had his own routine. So his problem was, if I take to sannyasa, if I have to leave all these things, I will not have that fulfillment. So his spirituality was so much. See, he didn't want to do it, lose it by going anywhere. So he inquired many persons and those who were very close with Paramacharya also. And when Avadhuta Mahatma was there in Chennai, he was Kanchi Paramacharya's younger brother. To him, he had a conversation. He said, why don't you just take informally, you take sannyasa from the next Pithadipati and you stay wherever you are. You need not go anywhere. Have your spiritual practice. Because sannyasa has many definitions. If it is a sannyasa, basically Shivanji Maharaj said, you should have japa, you should wake up in the morning, 3 o'clock, do japa, do meditation, do pranayama, have likita japa, have ekadashi varata, many disciplines, have the notebook where you will write your daily routine, discipline. So no other saint has prescribed so much sadhana, so much abundantly Shivanji Maharaj has given. This particular Swami, he had all those disciplines in his life. Now what is he going to do by taking outer sannyas? But his Guru has told. So he took sannyas from the next Pithadipati in a simple way, no danda kashaya in that tradition. He just took kashaya vastram and took the name also Govinda Damodara Swamigal. Stayed in the upper part of his house. He never mingled with the family, I heard so. Even one of the death of his son or somebody, he never was affected. He said, okay, let anything happen. Nothing affected him. He led such a simple, austere life. So, you can have such a life. Many had lived like that. No? In Shastra also prescription is there. If you take to sannyasa ashrama in the old age, you can live wherever you can peacefully have if you have the Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti, do that. Or Bhakti Marga, do that. Spend asuptehe amrtehe kalam nayed Vedanta chintaya. That is sannyasa. Till you sleep, till you die. Spend every minute contemplating on the divine, on Vedanta. That is one definition of sannyasa. We will go to other facets tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Right. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachalam. Yato mamatma bhavasittvameva tato navachyam mama kinchitasti yathatavishtam kurumam tathaiva tvam atmanatham ramanam bhajami.
Hari Om. We are very, very thankful to Pujya Swami Ramana Tirthji. We have still one lecture of His Holiness Swami Ramancharan Tirthji tomorrow also. Now I announce the night program. Under the auspices of Holy Sannyas Diksha Centenary Celebration of Worshipful Gurudev Sri Swami Shivanandji Maharaj, there will be classical dance by Miss Gangotri Das, daughter of Prakash Chandra Das of Brahmapur, Odisha, as per date, time and venue given below. Date 29th May, time 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. night satsang, venue Shivanand Satsang Bhavan Auditorium. All the devotees and resident sadhaks are requested to participate in the program. So today we will have this beautiful classical dance program. So please come in time and take the advantage of the classical dance. I request Param Pujya Swami Yog Swarupanji Maharaj to conclude the function. Hari Om.
Today we have very blessed opportunity to hear the illuminating discourses by the Kailas Mandaleshwar, His Holiness Sri Swami Divyanand Maharaj, and also afternoon our most revered Sri Swami Atma Priyanj Maharaj of Belur Mat Ramakrishna Mission, and also just now our most revered His Holiness Sri Swami Ramana Charana Tirtha Swamiji Maharaj illuminating discourse today, and also will continue to hear it with so much homely analogies, illuminating with the teachings really enters our heart. May the grace of the Almighty be ever upon them, and also we are very fortunate hear them under the auspicious occasion of Sannyasa Diksha Centenary Celebrations of Worshipful Gurudev Spiritual Conference Day 1. And tomorrow and the day after tomorrow also we have the blessed opportunities by hearing many discourses by various Swamijis. Now let us conclude with prayer. Om Trayambakam Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mutshiyamamritat ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् 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 ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्ति भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय, विश्वनाथ भगवान की जय, सद्गुरु स्वामी शिवानंद महाराज की जय, गंगा मैया की जय। नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव। Let us also